Live for yourself, never for others. Xiefeng. April 30th, 2010. The most selfish people in the world are those who claim to live for others. The most selfless people in the world are those who admit to living for themselves. The greatest creator creates every life as an individual, endowed with a unique appearance and nature, free will, and a full physiological system. Each individual is given a mission that is uniquely different from all others. As individuals, each of us has our own unique fate and trajectory of life and of human life. It is only when there are diverse, rich and varied lives that a fantastic world can be constituted. It is the greatest creator's arrangement that every life should live out its own nature. It is only with great selfishness and lack of mercy that we repress others' natures or deprive their natures by persuading or forcing them to live according to our own will, and that is totally against the way of the greatest creator. As long as everyone lives only for themselves, everything will be in order and each of us can live out our own style and live easily. Whoever does not live for themselves but attempts to live for others will exhaust not only themselves but also those who are served by them. The value of Lifechanyuan is to be responsible to the greatest creator and for yourself. Everyone should live for and be responsible for themselves, as it is only when they live completely this way, that all of humanity will be in a state of harmony. If everyone lives for others and tries to be responsible for others, all of humanity will be chaotic and under stress. In fact, there is not a single person in the world who lives entirely for others. Even the greatest prophets, including Christ Jesus and Buddha Sakyamuni, lived for themselves more than for others. They served objectively for others, but subjectively for their own achievements and for completing their missions. I, Xiefeng, the founder of Lifechanyuan, was motivated to start Lifechanyuan to lead humanity out of misery, to create the Lifechanyuan era for all people, on the surface for the human race, but intrinsically for my own benefit. The sages recognize selfishness for its selflessness. The more selfish I am, the more I can achieve and realize myself and the more I can be a true self and lose myself. In a word, I live for myself and I am responsible for myself, but I never live for others, never bother with others, and never answer for others. Certainly, I do not need others to live for me, bother about me, or answer for me. Every parent gives birth to and raises children for themselves, definitely not for the sake of their children. Any parent who truly does everything with regard for their children would never bring children into this world of suffering with neither the consent of, nor any agreement from those children. Taking care of and raising children and creating conditions to ensure that they receive proper education is for the children on the surface, but is essentially for the parents in order to satisfy their own desires to obtain what they need from those children. These desires include feelings of parenthood, glorification and illumination of their ancestors, passing on their genetic legacy, the need for support when they become aged and unable to work, and so on. Some children do not want to get married, however their parents will persuade and coerce them to. What is the purpose? It is entirely for the parents themselves. Anyone who forces others and who imposes their will upon others is completely selfish and in no way lives for others. The more they claim, all that I do is for you, the more their extremely selfish and purposeful, concealed motives become revealed. No matter how deeply a husband and wife might love each other, it is essentially for each of themselves. Does any husband live completely for his wife? Does any wife live completely for her husband? Is there any? Of course not. Is there any king, president, or chairman who lives completely for their people? Of course not. In order to gain favor from their constituents so they can consolidate their power and maintain their positions, they have to gain favor from the people, and the more favor they gain, the more they benefit themselves. This is really quite a tacit understanding. When anyone says, I do this completely for the sake of the people, not for mine, or I do this completely for your own good, not for mine, they are attempting to fool the public. They are looking for scapegoats to hide their own inabilities, passing on their own incompetencies and irresponsibilities, conspiring to control others, attempting to impose their wills and wishes upon others, mistreating others in spirit and soul, increasing the burdens of spirit and soul on others by arousing their emotions, and are shirking their responsibilities. A good person should seek the truth from the facts with honesty but with neither deception nor falsehood. Everyone lives for themselves and is responsible for themselves. Never repeatedly claim that you live for others or are responsible for others. When anyone claims, "I did this for your own good," it can be concluded that they are a liar and that they are lying. When someone says, "I live for you," it can be concluded that they are incompetent, greedy, selfish, and merciless. Someone says, "I want to deliver all beings from torment." I say, bullshit. Why do you want to deliver all beings from torment? Everything is running in Tao, need you not also?